Hello everyone, this is Northern Scrub from Team R.K.M. Today we're going to be bringing you my Darklord deck profile. This deck profile has been meaning to come to you guys for a while now. We are sorry about the delays. Unfortunately, life keeps on getting in the way of our video making, and it's becoming kind of frustrating now. However, we are working towards getting it back on, because, you know, things are looking up more now. Obviously, there are still some few minor details, but we can deal with that for the sake of video making. So right now we're going to go into the Darklord deck profile. The reason I picked up this deck is, A, the artwork on these cards is beautiful. Obviously everything in the deck is like near enough secret rare and super rare, and yeah, not one common card in this deck, which I'm in love with. Luckily they don't bend, which is quite nice. So yeah, let's get on with the deck profile, shall we? First off, for any Darklord deck profile, one card we are going to be using is 3 of Darklord Ixchel. She has the effect of you can discard herself and another Darklord card to draw 2 cards. Obviously, any card that allows you to draw 2 is incredible in this game. There's a reason this card was worth about £30 when she came out. And when you need a playset of it, it's kind of a ball ache, to be honest. Obviously, she's 29 booty as well, 2500 attack. She's level 10 as well, so she does help me go into some extra deck plays, which is pretty nice. And then she has the other effect of the Darklords, which 4 of them have, which are Ixchel, Naston, Amdusk, and Tezcatlipoca. They all have the effect of you can pay 1000 life points during either player's turn to reapply the effect of a Darklord spell or trap card in your graveyard and then shuffle it into your deck. So obviously I'll go through some of the Darklord spell and traps with you if you don't know what they already do. They're very simple effects, but they're very fairly OP. So obviously, you know, having a card with such high defense and being able to, you know, manipulate the field during either player's turn is quite nice. The next card we are running 3s up on are 1, 2, 3 Darklord Naston. This guy he's a very nice card for what he does and his stat line. So he's a level 7 Dark Fairy with 2600 attack, 2600 defense. He also has the effect of the paying 1000 life points, as I just said. But his little thing is you can actually special summon him from the hand by discarding 2 other Darklord cards. Regardless of what they are, if they're spell, trap, or monster, you can just discard them, summon this guy, and he's just there on the board. Like I said, for his stat line, 26-26 is pretty good for a level 7. He's a really good, nice little card. I mean, like I said, he's another one of these cards that can manipulate the battlefield during either player's turn. Obviously, you know, being able to do shit like play Rebellion, pop a card, or play Enchantment, steal your opponent's monster is really nice. Obviously, again, he's a level 7, so he does help me go into some more extra deck plays. The next 3 of is 3 Darklord Superbia. The reason I run 3 of this card is because he is a walking monster reborn, which is quite nice. What you do is, when he special summons from the graveyard, you special summon another fairy-type monster from your graveyard. Obviously, where he is a level 8 dark, he's great because he's also a trading target, he's an Allure of Darkness target, you can discard him off the Darklords to get him into the graveyard, which is quite nice, and you can special summon him off the effect of Darklord Contact, which does seriously make some combo plays off. So, you know, he's kind of a standard 3 of in any Darklord deck. Next card we're running is, we are running 2 Darklord Tezcatlipoca. This guy, again, is another one of the ones that allows you to pay 1000 life points to shuffle your spell and traps back into the deck. He's one of the bigger beaters of the deck, being 2800 and 21 defense. Where he's a level 9, unfortunately, where there's not many great rank 9s, he doesn't really do so much in terms of extra deck plays with us. What he does do, though, if a Darklord card you control would be destroyed by Battle Card effect, you can actually just discard him instead, which is quite nice, because it's kind of like the secondary effect of Return of the Dragonlords, where you banish it to keep one of your dragons alive. So it's just a nice card to have. I mean, obviously, you know, saving yourself from being Raigeki is quite nice. The next card is a bit of a funny one. I don't tend to resolve his first effect often. He's kind of a discard outlet more than anything. Although with his level being level 6, you know, he is quite good for going into the extra deck place. So, Darklord Amdusk, level 6 Dark Fairy again. So this one's an Allure target. You can discard it to get your other effects off as well. But his effect is you can actually discard himself and another Darklord card from your hand to the graveyard to add a Darklord card from your grave back to your hand. It sounds a bit odd, it's a bit of a neg, but you'd be surprised how handy it comes in. One nice combo play you can do with him is actually discard him and a Superbia to add Darklord Contact from your grave back to your hand. You can then play the Darklord Contact, which will special summon the Superbia. Superbia will then special summon Amdusk, and Amdusk is 28 booty. So obviously, you know, you can just build a wall off of one card, which is quite nice. The next card we're running is 2 Darklord Zerato. Obviously, where this is a pure build, I'm kind of just having to run some filler cards for the moment. This is a card that I'm kind of using for what it is, not what it does. The reason I run it is because A, it's the same stat line kind of level and attribute wise as Superbia, sorry. So it's a dark level 8 fairy, so it's a trade-in target, it's an Alert of Darkness target, it's a Darklord name, so you can discard it to get your effects off as well. I mean, if you can tribute summon it with his effect of, if you have 4 or more darks in the graveyard with different names, you can just tribute summon him by tributing one dark monster. If you can do that, it's quite nice. I mean, obviously, if you can summon him off the effect of Darklord Superbia as well, it's great to go into rank 8 plays with. His other effect is actually quite handy, though. Once per turn, you can send a dark monster from your hand to the graveyard, and then destroy all monsters your opponent controls, and then during the end phase, you send him to the graveyard the turn you activate that effect. What I tend to do is you summon the Superbia to bring him out in attack mode, or defense mode, to be fair. It doesn't really matter what you do with it at this point, because then you activate his effect, nuke your opponent's board, and then you just go into a rank 8 play with it. So, you know, obviously quite nice. It's a good combo piece for the deck. The next card we're running is 3 of the newest Darklord monster to add to the little archetype, which is Darklord Yugimation. This guy is the first normal summonable Darklord outside the Darklord Nurse, who, you know, Nurse Burn, let's be honest, is a terrible deck. When this guy is normal special summoned, you can send a Darklord card from your deck to the graveyard, so you can send your spells, your traps, your monsters. Doesn't matter what you send, you know, it's deck thinning nonetheless. And obviously, if you can pitch one of your spell or trap cards for your other Darklords to use in the graveyard, it's obviously quite nice. Obviously, you know, just being able to change the state of the game is pretty useful when you're using something like Enchantment to steal the opponent's monster, go into some extra deck plays, or alternatively just beat them down with their own monsters. So yeah, and obviously where he's a level 3, you can summon Dante with him, which is quite nice. Pretty conveniently for this deck that revolves around the graveyard. The next monster we're running of is the only non-Darklord monster in the deck, which we are running 2 Archlord Christias. The reason we run this card is because it's a level 8 fairy. It's basically just solemn, not solemn, what the hell am I saying? Vanity's Emptiness on legs. When it's on the board, neither player can special summon, so you just summon him, 2800 attack, neither player can special summon, you know, Raigeki or bust pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you can special summon it off its own effect by having exactly 4 fairies in the graveyard, and then you can do his effect to add a card fairy from your grave back to your hand. If you can do that, it's nice. I mean, it's not necessarily great, but obviously because you can special summon this, Superbia can actually summon it from your graveyard, and you can just have a 24 booty Superbia sat on the board, and then just Christia in attack mode, just, you know, staring your opponent down and punching them every turn for 2800. Which is pretty nice. And, you know, obviously where it's a level 8, it's also a trade-in target. Now, onto the spell cards. We are running 3 Darklord Contact. The reason we run this card is because this is essentially the monster reborn of the deck. It's got no cost to it. You just special summon a Darklord from your graveyard in defense mode. And then you can only activate Contact once per turn. Now, the fun thing with Darklords is, because the monsters say reapply the effects, they don't technically count as being activated again as that card. So you can play this, summon out Superbia, Superbia summons one of the ones that pays 1000, they then reapply the effect, and then shuffle it back into deck and summon another Darklord from the graveyard. Which, you know, being able to get around wording like that is very dodgy, and I love it so much. Obviously, you know, any monster reborn in sort of any deck is amazing. Like, Spiral Big Red is an incredible card. This is a pretty much incredible card for the same reason. The next card we're running is the Rotor of the deck, which is 3 Banishment of the Darklords. Basically, this card, you play it and you add out any Darklord card from your deck to your hand. So it could be a monster, it could be a spell, it could be a trap. And then, obviously, this is the same again. You can only activate Banishment once per turn. However, though, obviously you can get around that wording just by using the monster effects to pay 1000 and put it back in the deck. The next card is kind of just the standard draw engine. 3 trade-ins to dump the level 8s, where we're running 7 level 8s. Obviously, you know, we can just pitch all of them, draw 2 cards, get them in the graveyard. It's quite nice. I mean, like I said, you don't necessarily need Christia to summon. You can just use it as like a discard outlet to draw some cards. And then the next one we're also running is 3 Allure of Darkness, because, you know, every monster in this deck apart from Christia is a dark monster. So obviously, you know, if we can banish something from our hand like the Amdusk or the Tears that isn't quite useful at that point, and draw 2 cards off of it to get more combo pieces, it is quite worth it. So, you know, obviously this is just kind of the standard draw engine you run in Darklords. Obviously, you know, outside of Ixchel being a draw card herself and Banishment. And then in terms of general board wiping, we have the 1 Raigeki and the 2 Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters works really well in this deck because obviously, you know, you discard any of your cards, they're useful in the graveyard. And, well, I don't really think I need to say too much about Raigeki. You know, I don't like your board. Get rid of it. I don't like your board. Next up, we go on to the trap cards. This is a bit of a weird one for me, because I'm still sort of jigging around my ratios at the minute. I mean, I've done a lot of playtesting, and I've just never been able to make my mind up on it. So, obviously, where I've not got a proper side deck together for this yet, so unfortunately I won't be displaying that for you in this video, we have kind of thought about it, we've kind of messed around with it. So the cards I'm running right now, which is kind of the ratio I'm happiest with at the moment, is we're running 1 Darklord Rebellion, and then we're also running 2 Darklord Enchantment. The reason I'm running them in this ratio is because I tend to find that Enchantment's a bit more useful than Rebellion, because Enchantment is more of a store card. They both have the initial cost of sending a Darklord monster from your hand or face it from your field to the graveyard to activate their effects. Rebellion is just destroy 1 card on the field, non-targeting destruction, which is quite nice. I mean, obviously better in some matchups than others. Enchantment, though, like I said, is a bit more of a stall card, because you actually take control of your opponent's monster until the end phase, which, again, doesn't target, which is incredible. One weird quirk of the Darklords is, though, the paying 1,000 to reapply the effect of the card doesn't actually make them have to send a monster from the hand or field to the graveyard, because it's actually activating the effect, and the sending the monster is actually the cost. It's kind of funny, because a lot of Darklord players kind of get accused of cheating for this reason. But yeah, obviously, you know, I find that ratio the best, personally. Obviously, you know, when you're playing your Darklords, obviously, you know, playtest yourself, see what you find best. Then the final Darklord card we're running is the new track card that came in Duelist Saga, which is Darklord's Descent. This card's a bit of a funny one. I mean, I like having the 1 of it, because it can be useful. Obviously, you can search it off of Banishment, and you can recur it from your graveyard with the likes of Amdusk. What it does is you pay half your life points to special summon up to 2 Darklord monsters from your graveyard in defense position with the same name, with the same level, sorry, as one face-up monster your opponent controls. So, for example, in the Blue Eyes matchup, this card's actually really good, because you can summon, like, a Superbia and a Zerato from your graveyard during your opponent's turn. Obviously, paying the half the life points is quite of a steep cost. What you can do is, though, you can actually just pay 1,000 whilst it's in the graveyard to reapply them and put it back in your deck, which is quite nice. And, you know, obviously it's a Darklord name, so you can just discard it off Ixchel to draw 2, discard it with another Darklord to summon Naston, which is quite nice. And the final card is 1 Solemn Warning. The reason I only run the 1 Solemn Warning is because this deck has to pay so many life points. I find the 1 Warning is good. I tried initially with 2 strikes in it as well. I tend to find, though, you know, once I've resolved 1 warning and 1 strike, I've kind of killed myself, really. Because, you know, this deck does need a lot of life points to function. I mean, you can kind of afford to pay 4,000 life points, and then, you know, you can swing for game at that point. In this deck, taking 1,000 life points can seriously change your playstyle. So what I find is, you know, just the 1 summon negation is quite useful. Obviously, where Enchantment can steal your opponent's monsters and stop combo plays till the end of the turn, and then that you can just go into your turn and try and clear their board. It is quite effective. Obviously, you know, as I said, playtest your deck and see how you feel about it. Obviously, now we're just going to go into the extra decks. Obviously, like I said, the first monster we're going to go with is Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. As I said, Yuka is a level 3, so you can normal summon 1 of them, mill a card. You can try and churn out another one from your graveyard and then overlay into Dante. Obviously, Dante is detached. You can mill 1 to 3. Obviously, putting your any of your Darklord cards in the graveyard is quite good, because they're all recurable. They're all useful in the graveyard. So having Dante on the field is quite good for the deck. Obviously, you know, he's a 25 beater as well once you've detached and milled 3. So yeah, he's quite a nice card to run. Now, the next card I'm running is kind of annoying, because I kind of have to hard summon it, because I don't actually run any Burning Abyss cards, as you just saw. It's actually Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. So the reason I run Beatrice is obviously because, you know, you can detach and mill any card from your deck. I do have to kind of hard summon it going into 2 Amdusk, though, which is kind of, it's a bit situational. I find it works, though, and I actually do try and get into her as often as I can. Like I said, being able to just dump one of the spell or trap cards you need into your graveyard to activate off one of your other Darklords is really useful. The next card is Constella Ptolemy M7. The reason I use this card is because, again, I have to hard summon it off Ixchel. Not Ixchel, sorry, Amdusk. And then, you know, it can detach, bounce 1 monster your opponent controls back to the hand. It's kind of here because, well, Castell's not a rank 6. And then, going on to the rank 7 monsters, obviously where we run the 3 Nastons, we can go into rank 7s quite often. The first one is my favourite card in all of time, my Ghost Rare Flare Metal. Obviously, you know, 2800 beat stick that can't be destroyed by card effects, and if you can stall your opponent out by making them burn themselves, It's obviously quite good for the deck. So yeah, being able to just kill your opponent that way is quite nice. Sorry, I don't know why the camera's not focusing. There we go. The next rank 7, this guy, quite dependent on the matchup. I tend to find he's really good in the Paleo matchup. Is actually number 74 Master of Blades. So he's a rank 7 Psychic, sorry, with 2700 attack, Earth Psychic. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would target this face-up card on the field, you can detach a material from it, negate the activation and destroy it, and then you can pop another card on the field as well without targeting. Obviously, you know, like I said, he's quite a decent way of dealing with the Paleo's back row, because, you know, like Canadia targets, Dinomischus targets, it's all quite nice to just try and clear their board as fast as you can. And where he's 2700 as well, he can pretty much punch over anything in the Paleozoic deck. The next rank 7 is Big Eye. Obviously, Big Eye is one of the best rank 7s ever. Being able to permanently steal one of your opponent's monsters is incredible. Obviously, you know, going with the theme of Darklord's enchantment as well. Stealing your opponent's monsters and then doing stuff with it, like tribute summoning with it, or going into the extra deck with it, or even, you know, just quite simply beating your opponent with it. I mean, I tend to find Big Eye's actually really good in the Blue Eyes matchup, because being able to steal your opponent's alternative, pop their monster, and then just try and go off that way, and then maybe even go into a rank 8 play if you can. Speaking of rank 8, though, first off we are starting with number 38, Hope Harbinger. Obviously this card is just one of the best rank 8s we've ever received. Being able to negate spell cards and actually attach them to him as material is such a good tactic. You know, being able to dodge things like Raigeki or Dark Hole or anything like that, or even just negating something like a Pot of Desires, or even like Card of Demise. It's really good for your opponent, well, for you, not for your opponent, I should say. And then obviously, you know, the effect where you can detach and force himself to be a target of an attack, I don't often resolve, but in terms of his third effect where he actually dies and goes to the graveyard, and then you target another exile you control and it gains his attack, that's actually quite handy, and it actually comes up more often than you'd think. The next rank 8 I run is Hieratic Sun Dragon, Overlord of Heliopolis. The reason I run this guy is because A, he's a 3k beater, B, he's a generic rank 8. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card and attribute any number of monsters from your hand or field, minimum 1, and then destroy an equal number of cards as your opponent controls. Well, on the field, actually, so you can actually blow up your own cards with this. To be fair, in this deck, blowing up your own cards doesn't really give you much advantage. But yeah, being able to unload the Darklords out of your hand and then just being able to pop cards for it, it's obviously quite nice. And when I said where he's a 3k beater, you can obviously just smash your opponent with it. The next card I'm running is number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. This guy was a bit of a weird idea for me. I mean, playing it and actually running it, I'm finding him more and more useful the more and more I use it. Obviously, he's a rank 8 zombie who's dark. If this card has materials, he can attack your opponent directly for 2,000, because, you know, sadly, he does only have a 2k stat line. Bless him. Obviously, you know, once per turn during either player's turn as well, when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, you can detach material from him, negate the activation, and destroy it as well. So, you know, he's just a little bit of simple negation as well. The next card is just, well, nothing but beat stick. Number 62, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. The thing with this guy is he's 4,000 attack. Obviously, you know, he can detach off of himself and boost himself up to 5,600, which is incredible, because you can just go into this and just punch over near enough anything that isn't Utopia the Lightning. Damn that card to hell. And yeah, he's obviously in here as well because we actually run Dark Matter Dragon as well. Again, he's kind of in here for the same reason of, you know, you can just go into a 4k beater and just try and smash over your opponent as best you can, detach, hit twice. Really good card. The next card we're going into are the rank 10s. So the first one I'm going to go with is number 81, Super Rail Cannon Super Dora. This guy, 3200 beat stick, generic rank 10, so just any 2 level 10 monsters. Being able to summon 2 Darklord Ixchels going to this guy is fantastic, because obviously, you know, you can detach off of him, target a card on the field, make it unaffected by card effects except his own, so you can disturb your opponent with it, he can keep himself safe, and it's just a fantastic rank 10 anyway. If you can play any deck that can summon a rank 10, this would be the first card I'd recommend. The next rank 10 we're running is number 35, Ravenous Tarantula. The only reason we actually run this card, I'll be honest with you, is because we run Pain Gainer, and we run Pain Gainer because we run 7 Sins. 7 Sins is just Silent Honor Arc 101 on cocaine. It's a mash banishing 4k beater who can detach off of himself to stop him from being destroyed. The only thing I can really say with this card is, you know, cross your fingers and hope your opponent don't card you your ass. So yeah, in terms of that extra deck, that's all we got, really. Obviously, you know, that's a 15 card extra deck and a 40 card extra deck. So yeah, that is it for today's deck profile, guys. Obviously, you know, we are, like I said in the video, trying to get our channel up and going again. Although it's kind of funny because McScrub's kind of not happy with this format at the moment. So he's kind of in the mindset of, if he can't enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh!, why should any of you? So at the moment, he's planning to upload some pretty cancerous deck profiles for us as well. So, you know, I hope you guys check those out. Obviously, you know, if you guys like the video, give it a like, comment, subscribe. And then hopefully we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.